Hey y'all, welcome back to this video. We're going to be solving a problem relating to interpreting the meaning of the derivative in context. So this should help for AP Calculus A, B, and BC. I believe this is Unit 4, yeah. So it should help for Unit 4, primarily 4.1 to 4.3. So let's get started. The biggest thing to do here is to just identify the information given. So let's break the problem down just like we're reading a normal word problem that we learned way back in Algebra 1. There are 700 people in line for a popular amusement park ride when the ride begins operation in the morning. Once it begins operation, the ride accepts passengers until the park closes 8 hours later. Okay, and I'm kind of glancing at my graph and I'm seeing some correlation with time, so 0 to 8. While there is a line, people move onto the ride at a rate of 800 people per hour. People move onto the ride at a rate of 800 people per hour. The graph to the right shows the rate R of t at which people arrive at the ride. So notice these two rates are different. So they are different throughout the day. So the first rate, this one, people move on to the ride, is telling us that 800 people per hour are moving on to the ride. But this rate is telling us that this graph represents the rate at which people arrive at the ride, not on the ride. So remember at the beginning they told us in line, so we'd assume that they're arriving in line, right? Because if you've ever been to an amusement park and you arrive at the ride, there's a line. It's different from getting on the ride. So now that we have that information kind of broken down, let's see what the question is asking us. And of course, time measured in hours, we see that over here. Excuse me. So is the number of people waiting in line. So they're asking us waiting in line to get on the ride. Look at how they try to trick us with wording. They're not asking is the number of people waiting to get on the, is the number of people getting on the ride increasing or decreasing? They're saying is the number of people waiting in line to get on the ride increasing or decreasing between time equals 2 and 3. So the main challenge here is really just evading the wordy, confusing way they portray the problem. Because if you can understand what the question is asking, these questions become super easy and you solve them lightning fast. So we see between times 2 and 3, we need to understand is the number of people waiting in line to get on the ride increasing or decreasing. So we have times 2 and 3. And from here, the best way to think about this, if you're still a little bit confused, is to try to maybe draw it out. So we have the ride. This is the ride. Then we have the line. This is the line, okay? So obviously there's gonna be, to get to the ride, you need to go from the line. And to get to the line, you need to come from somewhere. So let's look at our rates. People are moving onto the ride at a rate of 800 people per hour. So that's a constant rate from the line to the ride. So from the line to the ride, 800 people per hour. Then the graph shows the rate at which people get in the line. Remember, people arrive at the ride. To arrive at the ride, you're basically arriving at the line, remember? So times 2 and 3 is telling us what that rate is. And that rate at which people arrive in the line ranges from 1200 to just above 800. So 1200, just above 800. We could call it 800. And look, we kind of answered our question. We answered the question already. Maybe I should do that in green. I'll just do 1200 people per hour, but if you can see over here, it's 1200 here at time 2, and it's definitely above 800. And that's what the question is asking. Is the number of people waiting in line, meaning people who are waiting in line to get on the ride increasing or decreasing? And if 800 people are leaving the line and 1,200 people are getting in the line, that means the line's increasing, right? If you have one person in line, or let's say if you have two people in line, and every hour one person leaves, but every hour two people enter, then your line is going to slowly increase. Then it'll go from 3, then 4. It's slowly increasing at a constant rate, right? So from our drawing and understanding the information, I think it makes sense for us to say that the number of people, the number of people waiting in line, make sure you write it out fully and make sure you try to include every bit of information, because they will take a point off if there's something missing. To get on the ride is increasing. Between, gotta add the time as well, because we don't know when it's increasing. We're given that, we have to tell when, because over here is decreasing, over here it's decreasing, so we got to be specific for the time. Between a time t equals 2 and t equals 3. And some people would ask the question, like, technically it's not increasing, it's 800, but it says between, it's not saying on, it's not saying on to time 2 or time 3, so it is increasing between those times. Increasing between times 2 and 3 because the rate r of t at which people arrive at line is greater than rate at which people move onto the ride. And so that's it. I mean, that's the question. I mean, it took us a long time to solve it just to understand it, but really, once you get the hang of these, it should take you really no more than maybe a solid 2 minutes, even a minute, I'd say. And really, it's just breaking it down. So like the first step, just break it down. Second step, understand what you're being asked for, and if you need to, draw it out, and then you're done. It's that straightforward. And if you notice, there's nothing really to do with derivatives. It's just rates that were just asked for. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found this helpful, make sure you like, subscribe, and share it with your friends if they're also having the same issues and questions related to calculus. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Thank you for watching.